Welcome back, quarantinos. Self-isolation drags on. The madness is starting to set in, so it must be time for science! The Pockyclypse Variety Show. Whether you have dreams of becoming a mad scientist yourself or you're just bored, the California Science Center has you covered. Just head on over to californiasciencecenter.org for Stuck at Home Science, where they post a new video every weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, along with a downloadable activity guide. The website says, "This space is designed for families to explore, investigate, and learn together without ever needing to leave the house. All activities use easy-to-find household supplies and are appropriate for a variety of ages. Not only that, Eustace, but also everyone is available in both English and Spanish. What that means is these nice folks go to the trouble to make something every day in 2 different languages so that as many people as possible can enjoy getting sciencey." Today on the Pockyclypse Variety Show, we'll be getting sciencey ourselves. As always, I'm your host, Kathleen. This is my co-host, Eustace. And to help us out today, we'll be introducing you to a special guest. My husband, Sean, a black bear. Tell the folks at home your name, Sean.
It's Sean.
And what do you do for a living, Mr. Sean?
I'm an electrician with the IBEW.
So do you think maybe you could help us bring to life something that runs on electricity?
Bring it to life! Yeah, I can probably do that.
That's excellent. Let's go do some science.
Today, Eustace and I are going to build our very own droid. Okay, so it's actually a STEM-Next robotic vacuum cleaner, but that's basically a droid, right? And who doesn't need a droid for the Pockyclypse? Here it says ages 8+, but over here I distinctly remember reading a warning. That's right, it says, not suitable for children under the age of 36. No, Eustace, I'm only 35. Months, as small parts may be generated. 36 months. Kids, when you're building a droid, don't put the pieces in your mouth. That's crazy. You could swallow them, you could choke on them, and you could die. Don't do it. It's not where they belong. To get the job done, we're gonna need the right tools. And my husband just happens to have provided us with a sonic screwdriver. What do you mean it's not sonic? You can hear it, can't you? See? It's sonic. You don't think that's what sonic screwdriver means? You're silly. You ready, Eustace? All these lifeless pieces will soon be our very own droid! Overkill? Okay. I'll take it down a notch. Look at those. Those are some genuine techno bits, I tell you what. Oh, here we go. Now we're ready for the Pockyclypse. Getting Dino Riders vibes. Get our fashion game on point. Right? This is what a sonic screwdriver is for sure.
Anti-plastic. This is so helpful.
Build a droid, build a droid, build a droid. The instructions.
Thought you do what you want.
We have the component parts, the assembly instructions. It comes with its own screwdriver. It's a Eustace-sized screwdriver. It's not sonic though. I like my screwdrivers noisy. Caution! Do not apply any components or parts to the unit other than those provided with this kit.
I'm an electrician. I know how to do that. I will not do that.
Just think of the mayhem we could cause. First of all, can you find the big blue one, Eustace? There we go. That is the base of our droid. All your base are belong to droid. Welcome to the amazing world of the STEM-Next series in the 21st century. Wait, I feel like I need to be like, the 21st century. I dropped it. 21st century. Next, I'm pretty sure what we're seeing here.
Is the springy sprongs?
The springy prongs. That's not the technical term. This looks promising. Here we have a veritable bouquet of techno bits. Here's the spring right there.
This one is smaller, this one is longer.
This one goes there. That one goes there.
Thank you, Han. The springy sprong. We got it.
It's a switch.
That lines up just right with those two cylinders. See there and there, and I bet you that's gonna be a place where a screw goes. It's very easy to accidentally send all of these flying if you use too much force and tear it open roughly. And you're like, they just go. And then if the bag's open, they could fly everywhere. I would recommend using scissors for these. We don't want to lose all these little screws. They are very, very tiny. They're so small. What's the difference between these two screwdrivers? If you look closely, you can see that this has a flat head. And the official name, are you ready for it? It's very complicated. The name for this type of a screwdriver head is called a flathead screwdriver. That's very simple. You should be able to remember that one. The other one sounds like it belongs to somebody. Have you ever met anybody named Philip? Did he have a particularly oddly shaped head? I've never known a Philip with an oddly shaped head. Nevertheless, this shape, this kind of screwdriver head, is called a Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, flat head, Phillips head. Put this in place so that those holes are lined up. Can you see how the shape of that screw needs a Phillips head screwdriver? And you turn it in a clockwise direction. If you want to tighten something, usually you want to turn it right, clockwise. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Turn right, it tightens, and if you turn left, it loosens. This isn't true every single time in everything in the world, but it's true of most things. Don't go too fast, or the screwdriver will slip right out, and you also need to get enough pressure to make it stay in place. Just be a little patient with it. And if you're having a lot of trouble, you can always ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. We're still on number 2. We've done this part of it, and now we need to find this. What on this table looks like that? This little guy is this, and that turns. This red piece, it looks like a bigger version of this thing that was coming off of this guy. There are a lot of things that look like a bigger version of that. So what's happening here, I'm going to disassemble it a little to show you what's happening. These teeth, we're going to call them teeth. And these teeth are interlocking like this. They fit into each other just like this. Step 4, now we're going to use one of these bigger ones. Look, the teeth are fitting together again. Mm-hmm. That's going to be useful because it means they're going to turn each other. If you move one and it's interlocked with another, it's going to turn the other.
This is interesting right here. You can see, like I turned this one relatively slowly, but you can see that this one is turning a lot faster.
So do you think, since this one had a gear on the top that interconnected with something else, that this gear on the top is going to interact with something too?
I think that is a very reasonable assumption.
Ha-ha! We will see. This piece here. We find something like that over here? I think it's this one.
You can look on this page and then over to that page, and you can see that blue piece is installed
under the wires.
You can see that the black is on the left and the red is on the right.
You know what I would actually recommend for these? I would recommend putting them into a little container with a lid or a Ziploc bag, something that will close while you're working on this. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Ta-da! Righty-tighty. Do you see the circle around the top of the screw? That's what's called a washer. And I should have connected that to the screw by running the screw through the washer and then into its hole before I put those screws in. Oh! They have screws that are attached to the washer here. So these are the screws I'm supposed to be using for this part. I understand now. It lists the different kinds of screws and they are labeled with a letter. It looks like a little funky. Push it down gently.
Alright, so we're looking for another blue piece that has holes for screws that instead of going up and down, are going back and forth.
You can look through it actually. Have you seen my orange piece Eustace? Da 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 da. It took me a little while, but I got there. Sometimes things are hard the first try, and you just have to keep trying. I don't see any reason why this shouldn't keep beating my tiara. Now, step 8. Oh, that's the reason.
Okay, you can be the droid's tiara. The square part on the side of the big circle with the little circle inside.
The Millennium Falcon bit.
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon shape. Oh, I'm gonna bend those back gently so they're out of our way while we attach the tiara. Not the technical term, by the way. It's not really called a tiara. So now, that's pretty much in place, and now it looks like it wants to talk to you. I want to sing you a song. Droid songs are weird. 9. We need screw A. That's the kind with the washer on the top. That's going to go into a little... Eustace, have you seen a red arm? This droid has a red arm, guys. You probably won't recognize it.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. We will align it just like that. Oh no! Stop falling, screw A. Come back, screw A. Did you just... My droid just spat out screw A. Did you see that? It did this, and then it did... It spat out the arm, too. Oh my goodness. Our new baby's spitting up a lot. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There's a screwdriver, turn, turn, turn. Now it's time for those big ones. I didn't notice that. We need another piece. That and that hole. And then, see the hole in the middle there? You have to align that very carefully right onto that pin. But there are more gear teeth connecting. And some of the gear teeth are attached to the wheel. So if we spin this wheel,
That's how it gets its motion.
Yep. Also, this looks like a hat, and we're gonna put the other hat on Eustace. And these on top, interlock with all of these gears that we set up before. Turning that and that and that. How does the vacuum cleaner work? When electric power is added to the motor spins the fan. Oh, I see why it slid. There's a spring there. Okay. There we go. We did it! Woohoo! Number 12. Yep, these little gears touch these gears under here on the hats. The motor fan's spinning motion pushes the air outwards and forcing them out of the vacuum cleaner of its exit. That doesn't make English sense, but you get the idea. 17. Looks like we're gonna need these finally. And these tombstones. To begin by unwinding. Just sit back and unwind. Got a black wire and a red wire attached to each one. Why is that, electrician man?
The red wire is positive, and it starts at the beginning of the circuit and takes the power
From the battery, right here, through the switch.
to the device that we want to do something.
In this case, it's a light. Here it's a motor. Here's a motor again.
And then we have a black wire, which is negative, and that takes the power.
Back to the source, the other side of the battery.
Power needs to come from the source, go to the thing we want to do something, and then come back. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
It doesn't really show where they are to stay out of the way. It just has them sort of disappearing the way that they don't in real life. So I'm going to fold them forward very gently, like this, so that they're out of the way.
Springy sprongs.
Springity sprongs. Wow, we're doing something with the wires. This is a column, up and down, and this is a row, left to right. The first column says wiring connections, and an LED is a kind of light, so that must be what we have here in the tombstones. So we know what the springs are, and we can look at this diagram here to see which one is which. A, B, C, D. It's not that hard. I think these are going to be the first ones.
Yep,
if
that's
we're going
the
to start.
on-off switch.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see right here that the on-off switch, the red wire, goes through spring C. And there's the pre-assembled one that is pre-assembled.
That's this.
Yeah, we can see that it goes to the battery compartment because the battery goes over here It's always connected to the switch. You flip the switch and the power can go through here.
Since we're using batteries, the type of power we are supplying is direct current, or DC. And what that means is that once you flip the switch and the circuit is complete, the electricity flows in one direction constantly. That is opposed to AC current, or alternating current, which is what you find in your wall socket at home, and the direction of flow constantly flips back and forth.
This needs to go to spring C. How do we attach it?
The spring is made out of metal, and these tips right here are stripped. This is an insulation so that you don't get shocked when you touch the electricity.
What we need to do is move this spring back so that it opens up. See, there are gaps between the coils now, and we're able to put this wire right into it. We're going to push it in far enough that the insulated part is the only part coming out of the coil. That look right, electrician man?
That looks right.
Excellent. The battery pack. It's looking tidier now that things are plugged in.
Is that in the same groove right there, or a
Should
different?
it be? It's in a different one.
It should be in a different one. That's because if my fingers are the spring and these fingers are the wire, like if you put it in like this and the spring is on, like one of these wires can slide out a little bit. But if you put it in like that, each of these spring coils are the same strength, so like they're both holding on nice and tight, so it's not going to come out.
Motor 1, here. Cross, red, spring C.
All the reds are together.
Red's on A, red's on C. Black's on B and D.
We don't want to have these colors mixing up because that would cause what is called a short circuit.
Have you heard of a short circuit? A short circuit is where electricity is given a shorter path back to the source. Electricity will always take the shortest path available to it. So if we took one of these black wires and put it under one of the red coils, then rather than following the red line and going up to the motor, it would be able to take it just back to the battery. And the battery would get really warm, and the motors wouldn't run, and your vacuum won't work at all.
There we go.
Sorry, Eustace. You're gonna have to give up the wings.
Does this fly?
Do we have a flying droid? That would be amazing. Or elf ears. The only thing that could possibly console me for the loss of my tiara. There we go. Looks like we're gonna need some more B screws and these little orange bits. Do you see little orange bits, Eustace? Why, yes. Yes, you do. And the hole lines up there. Looks like we need a circular orange part. That reminds me of. Who does that remind you of? What other droid does that remind you of?
Popcorn machine.
A popcorn machine or BB-8. Sorry, Eustace. Can I borrow this? Thanks. Like so. We turn it upside down with the tiara toward me. Are the wires getting in the way?
A little bit. We gotta make sure that those wires aren't in the way.
Correctly. Now, ta-da! We're going to need this ring and this. I'm gonna guess that's this filter here. Whether or not it fits will tell us something. And if we wanted to take it out and clean the filter, all we'd have to do is turn those back the other way. Which way do we turn to loosen it?
Lefty loosey.
That's right.
This creates a partial vacuum at the fan's spinning region. As a result, the atmospheric pressure of the air outside will push the air into the partial vacuum region through the entrance of vacuum cleaner. This is where the suction power comes into existence.
28 fits perfectly here.
I think what that's gonna be is like a little broom piece.
For this vacuum cleaner kit, dust or paper scrap will be held at the entrance.
So the intake is where the air will suck into, and along with the air, also the dust.
Yep.
As the motor fan keeps spinning, The suction process continues. Dust will be sucked up with the air.
The outtake or the outflow or the return, all of these words are used, is where the air comes out.
Almost done now. It looks like it's time to flip our droid. Are you ready, Eustace? Gonna see what the droid looks like. Ta-da! It's not quite done yet, but that's more or less how it's gonna look. It's pretty cute, isn't it? I'm sorry, Eustace. Gonna have to give it up. We're gonna need this. Right here. You spy where it goes, Eustace? Wanna have a look? There you go. Yep, right there. Oh, that was satisfying. Nice. 30! I guess we're just supposed to look at how beautiful it is in 30. Behold. It's wonder! More wonder! Finally, this, with the last little wheel, goes over the batteries. We'll see how well he works as a vacuum droid. The wheels are not turning. But it does do this. The exit is also a blower, which can make a foam ball float in the air. That's what it's for, Eustace. What?
Hey!
It does do that. I get it now. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling quarantine. I just cannot be around you, oh my darling quarantine. Social distance, social distance, social distance is quarantine. Just stay home, 'cause you could say bye. Social distance, quarantine. Wash your hands well, wash your hands well, wash your hands well, quarantine. Front and back and in between and sides, wash your hands well, quarantine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling quarantine. I just cannot be around you, oh my darling quarantine.
Bring to life something that runs on electricity?
Bring me to life.
No.
Yeah.
No.